All right, welcome to another clip here. What we're going to look at in this one is just a number of examples of just desperation footy. Okay, it's not always going to look perfect. A lot of times in these clips we find the ones that work really well and everybody hits their kicks and it all looks really free-flowing. This is going to look a bit chaotic, but it really comes down to who's willing to give that extra effort, who's able to dig deep when it matters the most and keep playing desperation footy. Okay, so let's look at the scenario. About halfway through the fourth quarter, Sydney up by less than a goal, and we're going to just watch a number of examples of that kind of extra effort. Fremantle Dockers in purple heading towards the left of screen, Sydney Swans in red heading towards the right, and we've got a boundary throw coming in from just into Sydney's half of play. Okay, so let's watch it. Throw-in comes in, Fremantle does well to win the ball, goes backwards, immediately hit by a Sydney tackle, ball comes out, chipped into the forward line. Fremantle does well, pushes Buddy past the ball, handball, a little bit chaotic but works out, handball, and they're out. Looks up the ground. Okay. Fremantle player here has beaten his man, should have an easy mark, but watch the spoil by the Sydney player. Disrupts the mark, brings the ball to ground, and now the pursuit is on. Good pressure by Fremantle, really hard fought, good tackle, ball up. So we'll let this run through. Umpire comes in, ball up because he didn't have time to dispose of it, and he's wrapped up. You see the huffing and puffing, ball goes up. Good tap, but again, relentless pressure, good smother. Taps the ball out, really clever there by the Fremantle player on the ground. Okay, doesn't try to pull the ball in and get himself wrapped up, just punches it out, keeps the ball moving into an open space where his player is. Wrapped up immediately, pressure, right? Who wants it more? Desperation footy at this point. Ball up again. Tap down. Again, pursuit of the ball. Look at this example. We're gonna talk about going backwards and using the anchor a lot, but he's running away from the play. Let's just pull that back slightly so we can get a good look at it. Okay, ball up. Remember, Fremantle's going towards the left of screen. This player here, okay, he's running away from his goals and he's being pursued by Sydney players. If he stops and picks up the ball and turns around, he's going to get wrapped up right away. So instead he runs with it, goes backwards to this man who's coming around. We're going to say anchor a lot. We're going to work on anchor a lot, but that's what we mean. And he's now able to look up and kick the footy. Okay, now what we're going to watch here is the Sydney player come off of his man, come a long way, and chop that kick off. So here's the Sydney player here, who's red. This is where the ball is going. This Sydney player, let's just get a little less blurry, has left his man. He's read the play, and he's here to intercept that mark before it gets to the one-on-one contest here. Huge spoil, really good example of a spoil, punches it, ends up getting the ball out of bounds, okay? So he's read the play in the air, he's left his man, and he's taken away the dangerous part of the ground where the ball is heading. Another boundary throw-in. Just check the setup here. Boundary throw-in. Good snap kick here. It is heading towards goals, but this Sydney defender is able to get back, running with the flight of the ball to spoil it through. So instead of it being a goal, it's worth 1 point because he's just punched it through. And that's that extra effort that you need to give as late in the game like this. You know, it's been a hard contest up to this point, but two really good examples of defensive spoils and just understanding where the dangerous part of the ground is, reading the play, and being there to intercept that ball. Same game here. We've jumped ahead now. Just over 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Still only 4 points in it, so now we're really into desperation time. Ball up here just over in Sydney's half of the ground, and let's watch the defensive effort by the Sydney player at the end of this clip. So ball up, won by Sydney. Good job here. Turns, bangs the ball in the boot. Really nice contest here. Sydney goes up with 2. The Fremantle player does well to bring it to ground and to not allow the forwards to mark it. And we're going to watch, crumbing isn't just in the offensive zone, okay? Crumbing here by the Fremantle players, front and center, is going to be the way that they kind of exit their defensive zone. So ball comes to ground. Good running, that little J pattern. Looks up, sees his man here. Doesn't quite take the mark, so he's forced to play on quickly with his defender coming at him. So he takes that step, makes his defender miss him. Little step, beats his defender. Quick handball here into a man who's kind of running forward with better pace. Runs a long way. Kick. Okay, this player here, this Fremantle player, has beaten his defender. He's got that 2-meter gap, and he's ready to take the chest mark and kick a goal. Look how far this Sydney player has had to come in order to pick that ball off. So he's recognized the dangerous play, the dangerous part of the ground. He's left his direct opponent, comes a long way, and chops that ball off to result in a forward throw-in. That's a really good example of just desperation footy, of reading the flight of the ball and of a defensive spoil in a position where if he takes that mark, Fremantle's going up in the game with only 4 minutes left. Okay, so it's not always going to be pretty. It's not always going to be, kick mark, and get your transition. There's going to be times in the game where you have to be willing to give that extra effort. In defense, in the center of the ground, when the ball's on the ground and you're just in those relentless contests. And there's some really good examples here of what that looks like and how the defensive effort by the Sydney defenders to read the play, to leave their direct opponent, and to cut those marks off saves a couple of goals that ultimately would put Fremantle in front.